Hello and welcome to another session of the My Solo 401k Financial My Community Daily Webinar Series. Thank you so much for joining. We're excited to talk about these topics today. As always, the presentation is being provided for educational purposes only and should not be construed as tax, legal, or investment advice, nor as a solicitation. We would always encourage you to discuss any tax or investment or legal questions with your tax, investment, or legal advisors. Today, we want to talk about the top or the best solo 401k for side hustlers. So we want to go through A to Z why a solo 401k is the best option for someone who does have a side hustle. So we should start out with the basics, which is what is a solo 401k? Well, a solo 401k is really a self-employed 401k. In other words, it's a 401k for a self-employed individual. So in order to be eligible to set up a solo 401k, you have to be self-employed with no full-time W-2 employees, no full-time W-2 employees working for any business owned by you or a spouse, if any. So if you do have a W-2 job and you've got a side hustle and there's no employees working for your business or any business owned by you or a spouse, if any, you'd be eligible to set up a solo 401k. And we'll talk about why our solo 401k is the best solo 401k out there. So to touch on more of some of those eligibility considerations, right? One consideration is, okay, well, if I have contractors working for me, okay, that's fine. Again, the key is you can't have any full-time W-2 employees, but you could have 1099 contractors, and that wouldn't preclude you from being able to set up a solo 401k. My spouse works in the business. Does that prevent me? And my spouse is a W-2 employee for the business. That's also fine. The key is that it has to be no non-owner, non-spouse full-time W-2 employees. Another top consideration would be, okay, well, do I need a separate entity? I've got a W-2 job and I operate this as a sole proprietor. I haven't had a chance to set up an S Corp or an LLC, and that's fine. Ultimately, the key is that you report earned self-employment income in your taxes. So sole props, for example, they report their income on Schedule C. So as long as you're reporting that earned self-employment income on Schedule C, you'd be eligible. Now, if you do have a formal legal entity like an S Corp or an LLC taxed as an S Corp, then you would need to have earned self-employment income from that S Corp. So that would mean W-2 wages from your S Corp. There's no minimum amount of earned self-employment income. So it could be for a micro side hustle, and that would still be acceptable as long as you are reporting that earned self-employment income with no non-owner, non-spouse employees working for your business. Again, your spouse or business partner, they can be working in the business. They can even participate in the solo 401k as long as they're reporting their own earned self-employment income, such as their own Schedule C or their own W-2. For example, if the side hustle business is operated via an S Corp. So of course, side hustle implies that you have a day job. So the fact that you have a W-2 job, even if you participate in your W-2 employer sponsored plan, won't prevent or preclude you from setting up a solo 401k. So now let's jump to, okay, and we can go back to some of those slides if we have got time. But again, if you have questions or topics you want to go over, we're not restricted to this topic today. So feel free to chat over questions or topics. And if you find this information to be helpful, we would really appreciate it if you would like our YouTube video and subscribe so you get notifications, because we do go live twice a day. If you like our YouTube video, that'll help us get the word out. So if you find it helpful, please like. So top solo 401k benefits and features. Okay, so that's why we talked about, okay, what's the best solo 401k for side hustlers? Well, we would argue it's our plan because and let's talk about why that is, right? What are some of the top solo 401k benefits and features of our plan? Well, one of the top benefits is the ability to make contributions. a solo 401k has the highest contribution limits for any defined contribution plan available to self-employed individuals. And our plan is a fully featured plan. So what that means in terms of contributions is you can make all types of contributions. The individual can make pre-tax contributions, and that has the benefit of reducing your taxable income now. Our solo 401k owners can also make Roth and mega backdoor Roth contributions, and that has the benefit of tax-free growth. Our solo 401k owners have the ability to do an in-plan Roth conversion. That's where they're moving money from a pre-tax status that's already in the plan, or maybe it's in another retirement account, like a former employer plan or an IRA, that they roll over to the solo 401k. And then once it's in the plan, they convert it to a Roth status. So that once it's in that Roth account, then you've got that potential for tax-free growth. You've got that big benefit there. And then, of course, flexible contribution options. So some individuals want to do a mixture of both pre-tax and Roth and or after tax. So they can get both the ability to reduce their taxable income now, but also be able to maximize the funds going into a Roth account. So they have the potential for tax-free growth. So the fact that the solo 401k plan, our solo 401k plan, has the highest contribution limits for any defined contribution plan available to self-employed individuals, has the benefit of allowing individuals to catch up on the retirement savings. So some individuals, they want to use that side hustle income to be able to help them catch up on their retirement savings goals, right? They might have fallen behind. Who knows? Maybe they got married or had a child, right? Or built a house. So they weren't able to maximize the funds going into their 401k. And now they're in a position to do that. They've got the side hustle income that they can use to make contributions to the solo 401k. Another reason that our solo 401k plan is the best solo 401k plan for side hustlers is its low cost approach, our low cost approach. So for example, we charge a 100% flat fee. It's $650 is the initial cost. That includes the $525 establishment fee, plus the first $125 annual fee on the anniversary date. So say, for example, this time next year, our annual fee is going to be due, which is going to cover the second year. And that's it, right? There's no asset under management fees. So regardless of how big the account gets, our fees stay the same, right? That annual fee includes comprehensive solo 401k compliance support at no additional charge. So regardless of the support that our customers need for their solo 401k, it's going to be covered and included. So they know exactly what the fees that they're going to be incurring. We're also totally neutral on where the accounts are set up. So we're helping our customers every day open up accounts at hundreds of different banks, many different brokerages. So these are places like Fidelity, Schwab, where those brokerage firms offer a free brokerage account for our customers. They don't charge anything to set up that brokerage account. There's no maintenance fee. There's even free online trading. They even give you a free checkbook. And then on top of that, our plan will make the self-employed business eligible to claim $1,500 in solo 401k tax credits. So those are tax credits, not tax deductions. So it's a dollar for dollar reduction in the individual's tax liability. $500 per year for 3 consecutive years for a total of $1,500. So if you were to add up all of our fees for the first 7 years, it wouldn't even amount to $1,500. So stated differently, the $1,500 solo 401k tax credit covers our fees for over 7 years. So having that low cost approach really allows individuals to maximize the funds that they can contribute, or of course use those funds for other purposes. Our solo 401k plan is the best solo 401k plan for side hustlers because many side hustlers want to invest in alternative investments. They may want to invest in Wall Street brokerage type investments, which of course they can do with our plan, but they might want to diversify into other things, right? Whether it's real estate, private placement, crypto, precious metals. So that feature to be able to invest in alternative investments has a tremendous benefit for those side hustlers because now they can invest in what they want and what they know. Ease of use. We, again, are totally neutral as far as where the accounts are set up. One of the most popular brokerage options is Fidelity. Fidelity has an online process, which is much more streamlined than their legacy paper process, where accounts are being opened online in as fast as one business day. On top of that, Fidelity has built integrations with top payroll providers like Gusto, ADP, Paychex, Rippling. Through those payroll providers, our clients are able to set up automatic recurring contributions, automatic recurring 401k loan payments. So it has that tremendous benefit of ease of use, access to emergency funds, tax and penalty free. And that's because our plan allows for solo 401k participant loans. Now, when one takes a solo 401k participant loan, it doesn't have to be for an emergency, but that helps to paint the picture of the benefit and the feature. So our customers, our solo 401k clients, they can borrow up to 50% of the balance of their account, not to exceed $50,000, then use the proceeds for any purpose. Doesn't have to be an emergency purpose. There's no loan fees, there's no approval or underwriting process, no credit check, no early withdrawal taxes or penalties. The loan could be prepaid without penalty. So they're going to again be able to borrow up to 50% of their balance, not to exceed $50,000. Those loan, it's not going to be subject to taxes or penalties as long as it's properly documented as a loan, which we handle the loan documentation requirements for no additional charge, and paid back according to the loan terms. So what are the loan terms? Well, the loan needs to be paid back in monthly or quarterly payments, equal payments of principal and interest. The interest is prime plus 1%, or it could be a CD rate plus 2%, with those payments spread over a 5-year term. Comprehensive support, educational resources. We've talked about how we have a flat $125 annual fee that covers all the ongoing compliance support for the solo 401k at no additional charge, right? Whether that's unlimited free rollovers, mandatory plan updates and amendments, right? A 401k is a living document in the sense that the laws change. The document needs to be updated. We handle that proactively for our customers for no additional charge. Form 5500 EZ and Form 1099-R preparation and electronic filing, which is included as an optional free service. Customers just have to let us know once the value of their plan exceeds $250,000, or if they conduct a transaction that requires a 1099-R, like taking a distribution or making a mega backdoor Roth contribution. But we're going to handle that ongoing compliance as that optional free service. In other words, no additional charge. We talked about the loan document preparation. We provide all the support via email, via phone. We host 2 office hour style Zoom calls like this twice a day, once in the morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Then we're back in the afternoon at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We have a robust community of over 30,000 members. We have vibrant forums where people are posting questions. It's a great way to jump in, to ask a question, or just see what other individuals are asking. So it's a great way to learn, to share the knowledge. We have the first industry solo401k.ai chatbot, which is a great way to quickly answer questions and find resources. So in short, that just results in our plan being the best solo 401k plan for side hustlers. So if there are questions, please don't hesitate to chat over those questions. In the meantime, we can talk about how there's still time to set up a solo 401k for 2024. So even though we're obviously in 2025, it's still possible to set up a solo 401k and make contributions for 2024. So now the type of contribution that you can make will depend on how the business is taxed and the type of contribution that you want to make. So, of course, if you had signed up with us by the end of last year, or even if you had a basic solo 401k, even if you have a basic solo 401k plan that you set up at a discount brokerage, for example, on or before the end of last year, then you could still restate or upgrade your basic plan to our plan and make all types of contributions for 2024, regardless of the business type, by the business tax return deadline, including any timely filed extension. But if you didn't sign up with us before the end of last year, or you don't have a basic plan that you had previously set up, through, say, a discount brokerage like a Vanguard or a Fidelity or Schwab, etc., then you could still set up a new solo 401k plan and still make contributions for 2024. Now, if your business is taxed as a sole proprietorship, you can still set up a plan and make all types of contributions, whether employee, employer, or voluntary after tax by April 15th, as long as you set up the plan and make those contributions by April 15th. Or if you just want to make employer or voluntary after tax contributions and you file a timely extension for your business tax return, which for a sole proprietorship, that's going to be your 1040, then you could still set up a plan and make employer and voluntary after-tax contributions by October 15th. So if you file a timely extension, you set up a plan in time to make contributions by October 15th, you can still make employer and voluntary after-tax contributions for 2024 if your business is taxed as a sole proprietorship. Now, if your business is not taxed as a sole proprietorship, let's say it's a partnership, let's say it's an S Corp, let's say it's a C Corp, and you didn't sign up with us by the end of last year, or you hadn't set up a basic solo 401k plan somewhere else that you now want to upgrade to our plan, then it's too late to make employee contributions for 2024 if you're just now setting up a new plan here in 2025. But there's still time to set up a plan for 2024 and make employer or voluntary after-tax contributions. You would just need to set up the plan in time to make those employer or voluntary after-tax contributions for 2024 by your business tax return deadline, including extension. So for example, if your business is taxed as an S Corp, it's the 1120S deadline. So March 17th or September 15th if you file a timely extension for that 1120S. Okay, great. Thank you so much for bringing the question. If you're finding this helpful, please like on YouTube, please subscribe. That helps us get the word out. So is the maximum contribution is dependent on the income of the business for the year 2024? Yes. One of the foundational concepts is that you can't save more than you earn. And so a solo 401k is for a self-employed individual to save their earned income. So one's ability to contribute is based off of their earned income from their self-employed business. Now, what that earned income means depends on how their business is taxed. If their business is taxed as a sole proprietorship, earned self-employment income, you have to run a pre-calculation. You take your net income from line 31 of Schedule C, right after your business expenses, etc., less 1/2 of the self-employment tax, and that's your self-employment compensation, upon which the individual can calculate how much they can contribute. Whereas if your business is taxed as an S Corp, your earned income is based off of the W-2 wages from the S Corp. Or if your business is taxed as a C Corp, it's based off of the W-2 wages from the C Corp. Or if your business is taxed as a partnership, you again run a pre-calculation. Line 14 of your K-1, less 1/2 of the self-employment tax. Now, of course, then you need to determine, okay, well, what type of contribution do I want to make? Am I looking to make an after-tax contribution to be able to make mega backdoor Roth contributions? Well, good news. You can contribute 100% of your self-employment income, right? Your earned self-employment income, dollar for dollar, not to exceed the overall limit, for example, of $69,000 for 2024. But if you're looking to make employer contributions, then it'll be a percentage. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for bringing the good question. I have a solo 401k at Fidelity. For making a contribution, Fidelity simply transferred some money from my regular brokerage account to the solo 401k pre-tax account. Is this the correct process? Yes, that's acceptable from a solo 401k perspective. There's no requirement, for example, that the contribution come from the personal account or the business account. It could even come from a non-retirement brokerage account. The key is that it's within the limits, by the deadline, etc. Any forms I need to fill out for you to classify this as a pre-tax contribution? No, there isn't. Why? Because contributions are not reportable by the plan. Unlike, say, an IRA, where the IRA provider needs to issue a form. There is no such form that needs to be issued by the plan. Instead, the self-employed individual works with their business tax advisor to report those contributions on their personal tax return or their business tax return. Of course, if it's being made as a pre-tax contribution, they're incentivized to report that contribution because it's going to reduce their taxable income for the year for which the contribution is made, right? That was one of the benefits we talked about with the solo 401k. You have the ability to make those pre-tax contributions to reduce the taxable income for the year for which the contribution is being made. Great question. So thank you so much. So again, we go live twice a day, once at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, back again at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. If you found this helpful, please like, please subscribe. We'll give it a moment to see if there's any more questions. Okay, great. We got plenty of time. So if there are more questions, don't be shy. I'm about to invest in real estate syndication and want to invest as my trust and not me personally. I'm going to wire money out of my solo 401k pre-tax here in the next day or so. Again, any forms, paperwork to fill out? No. So when one makes a solo 401k investment, that's not reportable by the plan, right? There's no 1099-R to be issued. Investments are not reportable by the plan. Now, of course, the individual wants to be certain that they satisfy those investing rules. So, for example, the investment needs to be titled under the name and the EIN number of the plan. When they're filling out those investment documents, they sign the investment documents as the trustee of the plan. Reason being that you give the EIN number, for example, is that in all likelihood, the investment provider is going to need to do tax reporting. For example, a K-1 issued to all the investors. So having that K-1 issued under the EIN number that's obtained for the plan, we obtain that specific EIN for the plan. Now the IRS understands when they receive that K-1 that the income attributable to that K-1 is growing inside of a 401k on a tax-deferred basis. Therefore, they're not going to be looking for that income to be reported on the individual's personal or business tax return. Awesome. Thank you so much for the good questions. Again, we really appreciate the chance to discuss these topics. We appreciate you taking the time to jump on. Please hit that subscribe and hit the notifications bell. Again, we go live twice a day, so you can come on, ask questions here, what people are asking about. We'd like to bring some prepared content also, as you can see. So we appreciate the chance to discuss these topics. Of course, yeah, we'll stick on here for the questions. Take your time. What paperwork or info do I need to provide my CPA for the $500, $1,500 tax credit? 2024 was the first year of solo 401k. So we hosted a deep dive webinar with an IRS enrolled agent that goes through step by step. It's a Form 8881 is the form that needs to be completed. But what we'll do here is pull up your email, and I'll shoot you over a link to that deep dive questionnaire just so you have it there at your fingertips. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I found you. Thanks so much for your business. We appreciate it. going to shoot you over this webinar that I mentioned. You could share that with your tax advisor. Okay, it's on its way. All right, take care, everyone. Thanks again. Till next time.